When you shoot something with a cinematographer, one of the first conversations you're gonna have is about equipment. Like what camera you want to use, which lenses, what kind of support do you need, and in my experience, without fail, at some point your DP will say something like,
I'm thinking we should go with the Zeiss Master Primes.
Or,
on my last shoot we used the Schneider lenses, they look pretty good.
Or even, Lauren, hey. Of course you're looking at those. As a rule of thumb, if your DP mentions something with a German-sounding name, it means that it's going to be super expensive, it's going to be pretty well made, but more importantly, it's going to give your DP incredible amounts of street cred with other DPs, which is all they care about. But I wonder, what actually is the difference in image quality between, say, this, a $15,000 Zeiss Ultra Prime, and this, a plastic $100 DSLR lens that Canon literally throws in the box like a party favor? And after post and color correction, can you actually tell the difference? Now, I should say that there's a lot of videos already that compare lenses, but the problem is they pretty much all look like this.
And the +1 is in focus, as you can see from this chart, that the 1 plus minus 2 is actually 3, and vertical lines adjustments are focus pulling.
Screw focus charts. When's the last time you've seen a focus chart in a movie? Nobody's like, oh, Tree of Life, the focus chart shot, and that's so incredible. Oh, Deacon's really nailed the focus charts in Skyfall.
Always makes me feel a little melancholy.
We're not going to compare these lenses against charts. We're going to compare how they perform in the real world. Because realistically, yeah, there's going to be a difference between a $15,000 lens and a $150 lens. But the question is, perceptually, can you actually tell the difference? And does anybody care? We're going to be shooting a variety of shots in a variety of conditions on this Red Epic at a ludicrous 5K resolution on 3 different sets of lenses. Cheapo Canon EF primes, which are all DSLR lenses and worth under $500 each. Mid-range cinema lenses by Red and Zeiss, all in the $5,000 range. And these super expensive Zeiss Ultra Primes, all worth $15,000, or the price of like a Ford Focus. You think I should juggle these? You think we can juggle all 3 of them? If you juggle this would be $45,000. Then I'm gonna play back the footage to our Ryman DP team, Shaun and John, as well as Jamie, the one person in our office who knows absolutely nothing about movies. Jamie, what's the nicest camera you've ever shot on?
My dad had one of those camcorders that had the actual full VHS videotape. That is the only camera I've ever shot on, so.
We're gonna watch the footage on our sweet 1080p television. We're gonna see if these hotshot DPs and Jamie, who doesn't really know anything about movies, can tell a difference between the lenses.
The first one was the Canon, the middle one was the middle one, okay. And then the last one was the Ultra Prime.
I think B is the Canon, A and C. It could be either one of them, but for me it was A, C, B.
Best camera was A.
Okay.
Second best was C.
Okay.
Worst was B.
Okay.
Basically ascending order.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
From cheapest to most expensive goes A, C, B.
A, B, C.
Okay, so having now seen the test here, were your expectations confirmed, denied, all that stuff?
I guess I am surprised by, like, in a lot of these shots, how similar all 3 lenses look.
I felt intuitively that there was still the strongest difference. I don't know if you felt this between the Canon glass and the other two. That those two, the $7,000 lens and the $15,000 lens, were a lot closer to each other in terms of look.
You're looking at more like diminishing returns the more expensive you get.
Yeah, exactly. My experience has been lately, if I'm asking a producer to shell out for like a really nice French lens or something like that, like a big expensive $25,000 something, it's because I'm planning on really taking this thing for a ride. Like, I'm gonna be flaring it a lot, I'm gonna be opening it wide open, I'm gonna be shooting lights into it, you know, I'm gonna be playing it, you know, all sorts of focal ranges and racking it back and forth. I'm gonna be basically exercising the lens, the kind of thing you would do on a big high budget music video. And that's something where you're really gonna notice the differences in those optics the most. You're right, if it was a documentary scenario, you could probably get away with like a 24-70 Canon, you know, something where you're just trying to capture something naturally. You could probably get away with that, and you're not gonna notice a giant difference in image quality, and you're gonna save yourself a lot of weight on your shoulder too.
That's what I'm interested in the imperfections, because I think that is what gives it character and is interesting, and I try and shoot like an old lens, try and shoot it wide open, because that's when you'll see the most, you know, it'll be the warmest, it'll be the softest, it'll have more fall off in the corners, so it'll be like a natural vignette. When you start to close down lenses, they all start to look the same. Like at 5.6 or an 8, like all three of these lenses should kind of perform the same. It's only when, that's where the big bucks are paid, like for the Master Primes and all these lenses, where the idea is you're supposed to be able to shoot wide open but still have like flawless quality. But older lenses, they didn't really have that. Like wide open, you see all these like distortions and imperfections, which now like I think our generation like embrace and like really like, because we're like, the camera's already so perfect and nice that we're looking to try and beat up the image a little bit.
You have a scene where Freddie walks up to me, he's confronting me, and then I turn away and I have an idea. You rack forward into me, right? Meaning you change the focus plane. And the ability of that assistant to nail that focus is partially determined by the quality of the lens, because on a cheap Canon lens or anything really under $400, the difference between Freddie and me is here to here. But on something like a CP2, or I'd say Ultra Prime's pretty similar, it's here to here. So it allows the person to really control, like, I'm going deliberately to this other place. It's not a matter of millimeters. Right. Maybe I'm getting too specific here.
No,
but
I think that's a good point, because I think we're just looking at image quality here.
Right.
We're not talking at all about how easy they are to use, and it might be great that your Canon lens, you're saving all this money using a DSLR lens, but if you can't get the focus and it's out of focus half the time, you've wasted your time with that lens, because now half your movie's out of focus.
Right.
These are the rankings here in terms of your guys' abilities to tell. Jamie, you came in last place here with 6 out of 18, which shouldn't be bad, because that is 1 out of 3, which is the equivalent of random guessing. So you were in fact exactly the same, completely randomly guessing. John is second place here with 7 out of 18, so you got 1 more right than Jamie, so you're just a little bit above randomly. And Shaun, because you got 2, the 3rd shot and the 5th shot exactly right, you got 1 more than John, so 8 out of 18.
Wow. The reigning champion.
Way to go.
I should have asked you guys what you thought you would have gotten on this one, because I feel like Shaun would have walked in here with 100%, man, but instead he walks out of here just under half. Anyway, thank you guys very much for the first lenses. We're gonna do more, and I want to do more extreme stuff in this round. When you guys should come along and help shoot some of these too.
Yeah, for sure.
Lauren,
What?
what was the point?
What was the point?
What was the point? What did we learn?
Well, the way we shot this test, with ideal lighting conditions at mid-range aperture, all the lenses perform the same in terms of perceived image quality.
Yeah, and I think the thing to keep in mind here is the way they differentiate themselves is at the extremes. So when you're pushing the lens to being wide open, and they also differentiate themselves in terms of features that they have available to you. You know, so obviously you're going to be able to pull focus better on a lens that's meant for pulling focus compared to, say, like a DSLR.
And what we want you to take away from this is, no matter what kind of lens or lens kit you have, if you really know your lens and know what it can do, what its bests are and what it can't do, then you don't necessarily have to shell out thousands and thousands of dollars for a good image.
Yeah, save your money, because at the end of the day, it's all about what people see on the screen and if they can even tell. So if you're gonna be doing something, you realize, you know what, I don't need to spend like $500 to rent something super nice, because I can get away with my much cheaper lens that I already have. You're gonna save money in the long run. You can put that somewhere else where it's gonna show up on screen.
Well, I think the next step is to really test these lenses in extreme conditions.
Yep, I'm gonna make it so that no rental house will ever rent to us again. We're gonna take all the lenses, we're gonna break them, we're gonna run them over cars, we're gonna see what kind of differences there are.
No.
Well, the next video is gonna be really boring then.
No, we're gonna throw these wide open. We're gonna put light in it and flare it like J.J. Abrams' Star Trek all the way.
We'll see how good you guys think you are. All you wannabe cinematographers, all you film purists. I'm gonna take you down.
Freddie,
What?
just take.
Can't be antagonistic towards people?
Okay, so you can watch the full lens comparison here.
Not anymore.
And we included the answers at the end so you can test yourself.
Yeah, don't cheat. Don't cheat. Get yourself a golf pencil and a little piece of paper. We're gonna see if you can beat our CFO Jamie. That'd be really cool if you can beat Jamie.
Yeah.
Jimmy, you had the worst score out of everyone. How can you not have the chance? How can you say that? Sure.